Hello and welcome. My name is Luke Bobo, and I will be your host on this episode of The W. Rebuilt is the story of Jeremy McMillan, a roofer whose life and faith in God was transformed after a near-death experience at 21 years old. With me today is Travis Lowe, senior pastor of Crossroads Church in Bluefield, West Virginia. Travis, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So let's begin with a softball type question. How did you meet Jeremy?
I came across, his work first. I saw some of the work that he was doing in the community, and I do a lot of work with business owners in our community. So I reached out to him in that regard as a business owner to see how we could connect, and it just became a real friendship.
Let's talk about the evolution of Bluefield. Originally was a mining town in a true sense of the word.
Yeah, it was considered the gateway to the coal fields. So Bluefield itself doesn't have any coal, but a lot of that's seen some damage or been run down. So part of Jeremy's work is kind of this restoration work, and we're actually seeing a large increase in tourism and kind of people wanting to come to the area. And to have somebody whose purpose is to secure the foundations, the structures, in a community like that is a real asset.
When you said restoration, I thought about God created a good world, Genesis 1 and 2, and now God is calling his people to be those that repair, right, or restore.
In our churches, maybe even in our theology, we've created such a divide between spiritual and physical.
Sure.
That concept is a little bit hard for us to understand, but if you look at the Bible, it wasn't for them. When Nehemiah heard that the walls were in ruin, he went to his chamber and cried and prayed for months and said, what can I do because the walls need to be restored? Sure. And that was a physical thing. Sure. But he recognized that physical thing had an impact on the spiritual things. Sure. He recognized that it would have an impact economically, sure, on the community. It would have an impact on the way that his community was viewed by the outside world. And throughout Scripture, we get this sense that people understood the connection. And I think we've lost some of that. I think you see in Jeremy's smile and his laugh about, loving people and putting roofs on their houses, this understanding, sure, of that relationship.
Who would not want a roof over their heads?
Right.
Right?
You're talking basic needs. The home would fall under the idea of shelter and security. And you think of someone who, for much of his life, struggled to find approval. Mm-hmm. And when he found that approval in God, he's found this purpose to where he comes into people's lives and he provides this sense of shelter.
Let's go back to his work in the mine, and that being in many ways part of the reason why he started this business. Can you share just a little bit of the backstory?
A lot of his life was a struggle for approval. Mm. He told me that he purposed in himself when he worked at the mines that he was going to be the hardest worker there. When he left and started the business, his boss told him that he could never be successful, that he would never do anything, that he would never make it. And those were words that he had heard time and time again throughout his life. Sure. One of the things that he said in the video is that we don't have to find approval from men. I wonder how many of us, if we were asked, what is your purpose, if we could say it in 4 or 5 words like he did.
That's what I love about this film. It's so simple and profound. He wants to love people and put a roof over their head.
Yeah, one of the things that he's known for, there's a hard rain, you have a leak in your house, and it's the middle of the night on the weekend, and somebody will send Jeremy a message, and he's there, right then, and He said that a lot of people would say, "Why would you come?" And he just says, "That's what I do."
I guess we shouldn't be too surprised because I think he says in the film, the church is not the building, the church is the world.
There's no separation in Jeremy's mind between like sacred and secular.
Sure.
This is life, and his relationship to God and his relationship to people are very connected, and so that relationship with God goes with him everywhere that he goes.
Travis, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for filling in some of the gaps with Jeremy's life and his work ethic, and I'm sure our audience shares my thanks.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
And thank you to the audience for joining us on this episode of The W.